I paid my ex's girlfriend to dump him. Here is $10,000. They're yours. If you break up with him right now. That dummy immediately told Steve that it was all over between them. The poor guy looked so depressed and lonely. And that was the perfect moment for our accidental meeting. Steve, is that you? What a surprise! How are you? He tried to pretend that he was fine, but I decided not to waste time and suggested we'd go for a drink. And then we can go to my place, like the good old days. I felt that it was worth giving so much money to that girl, as victory was almost in my hands. But suddenly, Steve shocked me by turning me down.
No, Claire. I've had enough of your crazy control. I want to date someone who respects my personal boundaries.
Then, I decided to throw him into the gutter. I caught a couple of cockroaches and went to the restaurant Steve still worked at. Even though I asked him several times to get a job as a broker at my father's company. Stubborn Steve believed that cooking was his calling, and that one day he would become a famous chef. However, the little surprise that I left in the customers' plates crushed that dream. And the owner of the restaurant fired Steve on the spot. So, while Steve kept getting turned down at job interviews, I decided to sneak into his apartment using a duplicate key, which I cleverly made before we broke up. God, what a dump! You traded my fancy house for this? Well, let's see how you like living on the street. I turned on all the taps in the house. And the apartment started filling up with water. A few hours later, I was enjoying watching the landlord throwing Steve's stuff out the door. Steve started calling his friends to find a place to stay. While we were together, I forbade him from spending time with them, so he would be all mine. So, all those whom he considered his friends simply became just acquaintances. And one by one, made up excuses for why they couldn't take Steve in.
Sorry, bruh. My family is coming to visit. Do you need money for a motel?
I wanted to take that sad puppy home immediately. But I pulled myself together and let Steve despair for a while longer. A couple of weeks later, I put on his favorite dress and went fully prepared to dinner. At a restaurant Steve worked at as an ordinary waiter. That time, my ex was more cooperative and agreed to come to my place for a drink. But as I was about to seduce him for the second time,
I didn't want to ask you this, but since you want to remain friends, does your father still have a job for me?
Steve said that his new girlfriend Penny was pregnant. And he wanted her to give birth in a good clinic. Which was why he desperately needed the money. I was furious. Some goose was stealing my Steve away. I couldn't let it happen. Steve is mine. Do you understand? You and this little misunderstanding. How much do you want? As it turned out, Penny wasn't as driven by money like the other girls. She was about to send me away and tell Steve everything. But $50,000 were enough to cool her down. She quickly grabbed her bag and left the city. The way to Steve's heart was clear. But when I went to comfort him, he didn't open. Nobody had seen him at work either. I looked everywhere for my beloved. Every spot that he used to go to. Bars, coffee houses, stores. But to no avail. Steve seemed to have vanished. It wasn't until later that I realized I had gone too far. I tried to ruin his life, and he broke down. My poor Steve. You're probably in some dark alley right now. Broken, hungry, and lonely. I lived with that guilt for over a year. Until one day, Steve showed up at my door. All tanned, full of life, and happy.
Thank you for the startup capital for my business.
Are you kidding me? What business? I thought you were dead. As it turned out, Penny didn't take the money for herself. She did it to make Steve's dream come true.
We'll go someplace where your obsessive ex won't find us, and you'll be able to open your own restaurant.
Steve agreed to take that risk, and it paid off. He is now a respected chef at his own restaurant. And all because Penny didn't try to control him. Quite the opposite. She supported and inspired Steve. And that made him believe in himself.
I hope you find your soulmate too, once you realize that. Love is not connected to a chain. It's connected to respect and support.